Welcome to Blonde Cards and Crafts. Let's make something together. Hello crafters, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, welcome back if you're a subscriber. Today I would like to make a card with you that have a pop-up element inside. This card is inspired by the lovely Sam Calcott from Mixed Up Crafts. She a long time ago made this card and it had two pop-ups, and what happens is when you open the card, the pop-ups go like this. So as you open the card, the bottom one comes down and the top one comes up, and I loved that. Brilliant card make. I linked that video down below. For this one, I just want one pop-up towards the top of the card, so as you open the card, this pop-up will pop up like so. Brilliant. So I have all the products that I'm going to need for this card, and don't forget, in the description down below, if you click on the more button, it will expand the description and there will be links to the products I'm using. There will also be links to Sam's video, to the measurements for the card, and all the things. They're down in the description, so have a look down there. So for my card, I'm going to go through the products that I'm using. I'm using this Craft Sensations paper pad. It's an old one I have in my stash, and I'm using it because I loved the wood effect, as well as this one here with the chevrons. It's Nature at Heart Craft Sensations. I don't know if I'll be able to link this, so if you have something similar in your crafty space, you could use it, but this is the pad I'm using in case you have it. I like to put my leftovers in these little wallets, and then I keep them with the pad. Generally I pop it inside the cover page like so, and then that goes into my big basket with all my large 12 by 12 pads, and then I know I have the scraps for them. Okay, so to add on to that, I'm using this. It's a Love from Lizi ephemera pack. Now this is a recent, it's from a recent card kit. I can't remember it off the top of my head, so across the screen here it'll be coming up what month it was from, but I loved the pieces in this. I loved it. I thought that this lent to masculine makes. Now you can use it for anyone, but I have my brother's birthday is coming up, not anytime soon, it's September, but when I saw this I thought of him for a card. There are cameras in here, you can just see that one there, and my brother loves photography, so, and he loves to travel, so hence the reason why I'm using this pack. So that's the ephemera I'm using. I'm going to use the Love from Lizi Happy Birthday dies, and these come with a shadow as well as word dies. I'm going to use the Love from Lizi alphabet dies as well. I like these. They're a nice font. I don't know what the font name is, but they're a nice kind of edgy font. So I'm using that for my brother Michael's name, and I've actually put it in there as Mike, but I could do Michael. And then for a finish, I wanted a birthday boy sentiment, and Lizi doesn't have a birthday boy. She has happy birthday, on your birthday, the whole lot. So I'm using a Made to Surprise. This is Special Sentiments A5 stamp set, and I'm using the birthday boy from that set. So that's basically all the products I'm using, other than my scoreboard and trimmer and die cutting machine, etc. I'll have links, like I said, in the description below. So they're the products we're using. Let's go ahead now and look at what we'll need for the card. I've made my card base myself. I've got lots of 6x6 envelopes in my stash. Now the envelopes are actually, they're just under 6 1/4 by 6 1/4. They come with cards, ready-made cards, and they're 5 7/8 by 5 7/8. So for this card, you can either cut down a piece of 12 by 6 and score it at 6, and then do your mats and layers to go with that. If you have a shop bought ready-made card and envelopes, then you'll probably find your shop bought card measures 11 3/4 and it's 5 7/8 scored at 5 7/8. So I'm doing one myself. This is 300 GSM cardstock. The ready-made cards that come in the pack are less than that. I think they're about 260 GSM. So hence the reason I'm making my own. So like I said, this measures 11 3/4 by 5 7/8, and I'm going to score it at 5 7/8, and that'll then give me a nearly 6 by 6 card base. And I love that because it means I can use my shop bought envelopes, and they'll fit lovely. You know, this card will fit lovely in. Now you might find you have a little lip. It's probably 1/16 out, I find, with this scoreboard, but I like that because it makes it easier to open the card when it's not exactly right. And you can always put that to the back. I don't know if you can see there, mine is a little bit off, but like I said, I don't mind that. I just have that to the back, makes it easier to open your card. So onto this, I have 3 pieces of pattern paper. My wood grained piece is going to go onto the front. These measure 5 5/8 by 5 5/8. So I'll have one on the outside. I'm going to get rid of the score. No, I actually need the scoreboard, so I'll keep it there. You'll need it for the mechanism. I have one on the outside, and then I have 2 on the inside, and they'll sit like so. And you should have an even border going the whole way around. I'm not going to fuss too much with making sure these are right until I'm sticking them in. Okay, next I have a piece of 5 by 5 white cardstock, and that's going to go in here. And this is just to give me an area to write on inside the card. Now, you could write on the back of this and not have this piece inside. Again, you could do your mats and layers, do another mat and this piece, and you could put that on the back if you wanted. And I could have done that, but I'm just being lazy. I don't want to write on the back of the card, so I'm going to have that on the inside. I've also got this little strip, and this measures 4.5 by 3/4 of an inch, and this is going to go on the front. I'm going to pop that down here somewhere. I might even put a little fishtail banner in that, and I'm going to build up a cluster of ephemera on the front. Inside the card then, we're going to need a couple of bits. So the first thing we'll need is 2 mechanism pieces, and this is to make our centerpiece, which is this here, pop up. So our centerpiece will be in here, like so, when it's closed. And when you open the card, this piece will open up and it'll also raise up. So this is how this piece works when the card is opened and closed. It's so cool. Sam did a second one of these so that and she flipped it around. So when this piece, when you open your card, this piece opens and moves up, but this piece opens and moves down. Very cool card. I really recommend you have a look. So this piece here measures 5 3/4 by 2 7/8, and it's scored at 2 7/8. And then I have 2 pieces of pattern paper, the same as what I have in the front, and these pieces measure 2 5/8 by 2 5/8. They're going to go in here, and I'm going to embellish them then with a sentiment and some ephemera, and I have them all here. I like to make these little boxes. I make them, they're actually like as if, you know, for making a box with a little lid. I've made a whole load of these in all different sizes, and I find them great from my craft table for putting all my little bits and pieces on. So I have them all there ready to go. So now, this piece, to move it, we need a mechanism piece, and we'll actually need 2 of them. So I have the 2 of these here. I'm going to move this out of the way. And I've made one. This is how it's going to look when we go to attach it. It'll look like this. A very weird looking little thing, but it works a treat. So for this piece, you need one piece that measures 1.5 by 2 1/4. Now, on the long side, oh, actually, I'm going to start with on the short side. On the 1.5 inch side, we're going to score it. I'm just going to make sure, yeah, you're in my in view. I'm going to score this at 3/4 of an inch. Then I'm going to rotate it around, and I'm going to put a little notch at the top and the bottom. And I'm going to notch it at 3/4 of an inch. So I'll put a little notch there, and then I'll put a little notch at the bottom, just here. And that way then, I hope you can see, I have a little notch here and here, and they're 3/4 of an inch on that. Now, I also want to put a little notch on our center score line, and I want to do that at 1.5. I had to stop there and think for a minute. So at 1.5 is just about there. I want to put a little notch in there. And this is just a guide for us. So now we have 3 little notches and 1 score line. We have a score line down the middle, a notch at 3/4 of an inch on the left, a notch at 3/4 of an inch on the right, and a little notch in the middle at 1.5. I want to join this notch in the middle score line down to the bottom right corner and the bottom left corner. And I'm going to do that. I have lots of lines on my scoreboard. I use these in my crafting, and I find them handy when I'm, when I'm doing things like this. So I've got my little notch there, and I'm finding my track. So I'm on this blue track here, any track in your scoreboard, and I've got my little tool here. I'm pushing down on that, and I'm swiveling this around, and I'm going to then score down. I'm going to put it back in the center there. I'm going to rotate my little piece around so that the point comes up right into the middle of my track. And then I'm going to score up, and that's going to give me perfect lines. Now, you could take a ruler like so, and you could put your little tool there, put your ruler up against it, bring it over to the corner, and you could then score across like that and score from here down to the other corner like that. But I just find it just as handy to pop my little scoring tool, put it into the track. I can feel it there running along, and then just rotate my cardstock over and back to do my scoring. So that's a little tip if you're like me, wanting to do some scoring. So now I need to also, these little notches that we had here on the left and the right, I want to score from the middle down to them, and this is easy to do. I just sit my tool there on my little notch, and then I line my center score line up to my track, and that way then I can score down. And I'm going to do the same on the other side. I'll find my little notch there, and I'll bring it to the center, and then I can score down through that. So now it's like we have these 2 notched, we have these score lines. They're like arrow shapes. We have 2 arrow shapes, and they're going right through the middle of our center score line. That is what you need to have. And what we're going to do is we're going to fold these 2 up like so, and then we're going to fold this one here down. So what you want to do is find your score line there, find your score line there, and then pinch the middle so it folds down, and it'll fold in like that for you very simply, and these then fold up. So it's like a little airplane. It's a weird looking thing, but it's really easy. So we're folding back these ones towards us like so, and we're pinching this one in. So we're bringing this in. So this center score line will drop down and then over towards us like that. So I hope I've gone slow enough to explain how that folds and how to score it. So there are two little mechanism pieces that we need for our pop-up. So I'm going to move everything out of the way now, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to start on our card and assembling that and putting it all together. So now we have our mats and layers all down, and we want to add in our pop-up piece to our mechanisms. So when you're adding your mechanism, you can see here, you can either have the folded edge up or the open edge up, and we want the open edge up. So you see the way this is open here, that's how we want this facing up. So we want to add some glue in here, and then we're going to stick this down to the inside of our card. So I'm going to take some of my quick grab glue and I'm going to add some all in here. I'm going to take my time, and then that is going to stick in to this folded piece. So I want it up near the top, not right up at the top, but near the top. And I'll squeeze that down. And we want our mechanism piece here, we want it at a good 90-degree angle. So it needs to be pretty much straight. And then you can see our little wings are here. So I may have added a little bit too much glue, but that's fine. I'll give it a chance for that to dry and set. So if I turn it up this way, you can see we have a nice L shape there. We have a nice 90-degree angle. And I want to do the same again with this piece. I'm going to add my glue in here. This reminds me of a bird's mouth. That's what it makes me think of. A little beak. I've added my glue in there. I want to spread it out so it doesn't ooze out as much as the last one. And then we're going to add this in again the same way. I'm going to bring it up close enough, about 1/4 of an inch there from the other one. We want this parallel here to the bottom of this one. And again, you don't want it wonky. This needs to be a nice, neat 90-degree edge. So that little angle is so important, because when you open it, it can be wonky. So now I think they look straight enough. My eyesight isn't great, but look, we'll give it a go, and we'll add a bit of pressure. Make sure those two stick onto this piece really well. And if you've any glue oozes out, use your anti-static bag on that, and that'll take away any excess sticky that you might have had. Now we want to add this into our card, and we're only going to put glue on these little wings. I'm going to add glue to these ones first and stick them down, and then onto these and stick them in. And we want it close enough to the top, but not so much that you can see it when the card is closed. So I'm going to try and get mine up between this white one and the edge of our pattern paper. So I'm going to add a little bit of glue onto this and onto this one here. And I'm going to pop this in here. I don't want it on the score line here in the middle, and I don't want it over it. I want it just set before the score line. So I'm going to stand up so I can look over and see where I'm at. I'm going to make sure this is nice and level here, and I'm going to press these down. Lovely. So now we're in, we're committed. I'm going to open this up now, and now I can add some glue to these two little wings here. So I'll add some of my quick grab glue to those. Then I'm going to close the card, and I'm going to add my ephemera and embellish the front of my card. Now, generally, I'm very honest when I do my videos. And so I'm going to be honest today. This is my second time making this card. So I made it and I stuck in my little mechanism, closed it over, and then put on my front pieces, my front ephemera to decorate the front of my card. And when I opened it, instead of it popping up, it popped down because I put the mechanism, these pieces, in the wrong way up. You can see here it's the folded edge I have on these rather than the open edge. And rather than get rid of the card, because it's still a fine looking card, like it's grand, I just wanted this to pop up the top and not down towards the bottom. So I'm going to keep this. I'm going to finish this card. I'm going to put a happy birthday in here. There's plenty of room to write a message there. I would write the message while the card is open, you know, happy birthday and the person's name or whatever. And like I said, you can easily write your message on the back. When my one pops up, you'll have all this room underneath, but I'm not going to throw this card out. I'm definitely going to keep it as a masculine make. I'm not going to embellish it with happy birthday or anything. I'm going to leave it blank because this would be a great card for a bon voyage card. You know, for someone who's moving or a new job, retirement. This card would work for any of those. So I'm going to leave these blank, and when I need a retirement card or your new job card or bon voyage card, I'll then finish it like the way I finished this one. So I'm going to go ahead. I have got some more ephemera and I'm going to add them to the front here, and then I'm going to open my card and see how it opens. And if it doesn't work right, that's it, I'm done. You won't see this video because I'll have junked it. So I'm going to go ahead now and I'm going to add my ephemera. So I want to put some foam tape on the back of my camera and my plane. So I have some foam pads, but I'm just going to use some of my sheet here. And I'll add that on. Perfect, that'll do nicely. So now we have our front done the same. So let's have a look. Oh yes, that works lovely. I'm going to move this one just a little bit out of the way. So when we open this, it pops up. Yes, that's what I wanted. Lovely. Delighted with that now. Doesn't that look great, the way it pops up? Yeah. Very pleased with that now. So now we can embellish this. So I want to, I've got my few little bits and pieces here. I'm going to add a bit of music and go ahead and embellish this. And there we go. There are our pop-up cards. This is the one that I originally planned to make with our pop-up, how it lifts up and out of the way. I just love this. I would encourage you, when you're making your little mechanisms, really burnish those well. I use 300 GSM cardstock. I think if I was making them again, I'd maybe use 280, something like that, but it did work really well. I'm delighted with the layout of this. I know that my brother Michael will actually love this, or Mike as I have there. I will go along maybe and put some glossy accents or accent glaze on the happy birthday and the mic. And then I've got plenty of room here to write a little message, you know, something like wishing you a really great day or something like that, but I've lots of room there. And I love the ephemera that I've used. I'm not going to put anything else on the front because I want the card to be displayed like so when it's on a mantelpiece or on a shelf, you know, it'll be displayed like that and you'll see the happy birthday mic on it. So yeah, I love it. And don't forget, when you have little mistakes when you're doing things and they don't work out as planned, they can still work for you. Even if I wasn't happy with this, I could have just cut the front of this off and then just gone ahead and redone the inside again. I wouldn't have just thrown the whole thing away, but I'm, you know, I'm not going to get rid of this. I love the fact that the mechanism works. It's just, I think when the card is stood, you'll see the mechanism, and I'm not gone on that, but I still think it'll work as a card, and I can decide later whether I want it, like I said earlier, as a retirement card, a birthday card, bon voyage, or good luck in your new job. So I have this ready to be decorated, and I have this one ready for my brother Mike's birthday, which is coming up in September, and I hope he likes it. I love it. I hope he likes it. It has all the little things that he likes. So that's it for our video for today. I hope you enjoyed it, folks. I'll leave links, as I said earlier, in the description down below. If you make this card, I would love for you to share it on my group called Your Cards and Crafts. I'll leave a link as well to Sam's video where she shows you how to put this mechanism in so it pops up at the top and down at the bottom. It's a double mechanism card and it really is very, very cool. So that's it for now, folks. Until next time, take care, stay safe, and I'll see you again really soon. Bye for now.